Hey, what's good everyone? Welcome to Rink, Diaries. Look, last man here. For today's video, I want to redo part of the blade changing videos because it ended up like crap. The content, spot on. Production, not so much. For this video, I want to focus on setting the angle of the blade because I've had some questions about that. Now, taking the blade on and off, not very difficult. Just be real safe because you are dealing with a sharp edge. Other than that, I'll just really quickly the front and rear bolts on the blade and which ones you should use. But the focus on this video, I want to focus on setting the angle of the blade, and you can either do that with this washer or this blade angle tool. Now in the video, I showed you how to do it the old-fashioned way with the washer, the blade bracket, and the sticker to set the blade to the 10 degrees that's recommended by Zamboni. But you can also use this blade adjustment tool. You can get through Zamboni. Typically it comes with the machine and the new machine and a little toolbox to get through Zamboni. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use this thing as well as the washer. But let's go ahead and switch views here first so we get a first-hand look on how to set the angle of the blade. And one thing I want to address in this video real quickly is the difference between the front bolts and the rear bolts. The front bolts right here is when you use it when the blade is super long, it's pretty new, and as the blade gets sharpened and gets shorter and shorter and shorter, then you use the rear bolts because it sticks the blade out a little bit. So ideally what you want to do, or not ideally, but what you're shooting for here basically is anything underneath 4 inches, you're going to start using the front bolts. So you can see right here with this little measuring thing I made, right now I'm about 4.5 inches. So I still got quite a bit of time before I have to use the rear bolts right here. All right, while the blade's off the machine, I'm going to show you this blade adjustment tool that you could use. But how this works basically is when the blade's on the machine, you stick this part right here on the blade. And this flat part right here that you see, that's where the conditioner runner is. So this is on the blade, and let's say this red thing here is the conditioner, and if it's kind of not lining up flat with this flat part here on this blade angle tool, you want to adjust your blade so it does line up with the runner. So let's say that this thing right here is the runner and it's sitting like this. So you basically would have to lower the blade down to get it so it's level with your conditioner runner. And I guess conversely, if it's kind of too high, then you have to raise it up. So when I get this thing on the machine, I'll show you. I just want to show you here off the machine. I'm going to place it on the blade and I'm going to check out to see how the conditioner matches up to this little flat part on this blade adjusting tool. All right, I think I got a good view for you guys here. Again, with this blade adjustment tool, you want the blade to sit in this angled part right here. You want the conditioner's runner to lay flat or flush with this part right here. So once you set it in there, I kind of slide it towards the runner a little bit to see if it kind of sits on the runner or if it hits against it. You see here, and as you can see, it's bumping against the runner on this part right here. So I want to lower the blade down so this flat part sits flush with the runner. So let me go ahead and give a few turns on the blade. All right, let's go ahead and recheck it here. Stick it on the blade and slide it towards the runner. Ooh, a little close. It seems like hitting on this backside just a little bit. But it's hard for me to see around the camera, so hold on here. Kind of rocking a little bit in there. So I'm gonna call it, I'm gonna say I need to go up a little bit because now it's hitting right here. All right, let's go ahead and check it again. Stick it on the blade so it's on flush with the blade and slide it over the conditioner runner. And as you can see, it's sitting flush with the runner while it's on the blade. So it's set to the 10 degrees that Zamboni recommends you to. So it's nothing much to it. You just want to make sure that this thing is sitting on the blade itself, and you kind of slide it over to the runner, and if it's flush with the runner, you're good to go. Let's go ahead and switch views here, and I'll show you how to do it with the washer, the sticker, and the blade bracket. Okay, so after using the blade adjustment tool to set the angle of the blade, you slide the washer and the blade bracket right here, and you can tell it's lined up with the line right there. As well as I could use this blade adjustment tool to do the same thing. I prefer the washer because it's a little bit cleaner look. You can't really, this is a little bit thicker, the washer's a little finer. But if you had to do this without this blade adjustment tool with the washer here, let me go and kick the blade back a couple turns. And now you can tell right here that the blade is, the washer here is not parallel to the line right there. So what you want to do is you want to turn the blade up or down based on where you are, so it matches these lines right here. So in my case, I know that I have to move the blade forward to get the washer. Now I'm really looking at the back of the washer, and this plate right here needs to be parallel with the line. Well, I guess front of the washer, back of the washer, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that they're parallel with the lines. I got it back in position where it's 10-degree mark, where Zamboni recommends you to have it set for. And again, you can use this blade adjustment tool, do the same thing. Let me go ahead and switch views right here so they give you a better look on this blade bracket with these lines right here. All right, here's a top-down view of the blade bracket. I'll go ahead and slide that washer in there. As you can see, it's nice and parallel with the line. Let me go ahead and grab that blade adjusting tool. Slide that guy in there. Nice and parallel with the line. That's all it takes to set the blade angle to the 10 degrees that Zamboni recommends you to. Let's go ahead and use the washer on the side here with the sticker here, or you go ahead and use this thing with the conditioner and the blade, which I think this is more reliable, more recommended. I don't know, if you're new, I think this is the better way, but once you got it set, you go ahead and get yourself a reference mark here, and that's what you could use with the washer and this. And I like to use the washer on the bottom to tap against the side of the blade to make sure it's level with the runner. That's something I like the washer because it's a little bit thinner than this thing. It's something I can feel a little bit better. Alright, but I was going to show you how to do that since we're here and I'm talking about it. But after you get done setting the angle of the blade, the next step is to level the sides of the blades with the runner by using the washer or the blade tool. So basically you're going to be lining the front edge of the blade with the runner by adjusting the blade adjustment bolts or the leveling bolts on each side of the conditioner. So as you can see right here, you want the blade to be level with the runner after you set the angle of the blade. And you can see that right here. And you do that by adjusting these little bolts right here. I call them blade adjustment bolts or leveling bolts. They're on each side of the conditioner right here. You just gotta make sure that once you set the angle of the blade, that you come through and you level the blade with the runners, the edge of the blades with the runners, so everything's good to go. Now that's because you're going from, at times you're going from a long blade to a short blade. So if this is the conditioner runner, and if you have a blade you had on a machine, and you say you're going from a blade that's, say, you know, this thick to a longer blade, that blade's going to stick down underneath the conditioner. So once you get the angle set, you got to level the blade with the runner. And at the other end, if you had a blade that was a little bit shorter because it has less life on it, again, once you get that angle set, you have to level the edge of the blade with the runner, so everything is level. And one important thing too, let me switch pages right here. As you can see right here, that when you level the edge of the blade with the runner, majority of the blade itself is going to stick underneath the blade a 1/16 of an inch. Now that's because the blade bracket itself is tapered the last, I believe the last 6 inches on each side of the machine, about a 1/16 of an inch, right there, 6 inches, 1/16 of an inch. And it's tapered on either side so you can blend one pass into another and get smooth ice. So if you had the blade level on each side, the majority of the blade itself would be sticking underneath the conditioner a 1/16 of an inch, as Zamboni indicates right there. It's important once you get this done, you raise the blade up a few turns. That way you don't gouge into the ice a 1/16 of an inch, because a 1/16 of an inch is a pretty aggressive cut. So basically what I do is I raise up a few turns, I go onto the ice, do my last adjustment on the ice. Go ahead and check that video out if you're not sure what I'm talking about. But when I drop my conditioner down for the last adjustment, I just lower the blade nice and easy until it starts biting the ice, until I start seeing scrape marks and the powder starts going into the augers, into the tank. At that point I know I'm scraping good. I do my final adjustment if need so. But the important thing I'm trying to get at is that once you do set the angle of the blade and level the blade with the runner, you got to make sure you pull that blade up a few turns or you're going to gouge right into the ice. I think that's all I have for you guys today. Again, thanks for watching, and as always, hope you learned something. And like the local Iceman says, stay cool.